All right. All right. Hi, Lee. So great to have you on the show today. Please just tell me a little bit about yourself and your work with grief.
Yeah, hello. Thank you for inviting me onto your show. This is exciting. And we chatted for a couple minutes ahead of time and found some um, common interests and such. So I'm glad we connected. I'm an end of life expert. I am an ordained clergy person and a hospice chaplain. Those are my backgrounds.
Oh,
So
wow.
it sort of comes naturally to me to do this end of life work. Um, it's powerful and it's profound and rewarding, and I love doing it. And discovered that there's a great need for pet loss support as well. So
Yes.
I've
Yes.
added that. Yeah.
And so I read on your bio that you often incorporate your own dog Shadow into your
Mm.
work. Like, how can you tell me a little bit about that? Like, I know, like all my animals, right? And everybody knows. Well, not everybody knows, but anyone who knows, right? like the true healing power of having a pet and how they know your emotions and how they can connect in a very different way because it's just like
Oh,
unconditional love. So
such a
please tell me a little
different
bit about that
way.
and Shadow's ability to kind of connect with some of your clients and your community.
Yeah, so I've had dogs all my life and have felt that, they just know us. I got Shadow in 2016 or 17, right around there, to become my service dog
Oh wow,
um,
okay.
for PTSD and mental health disabilities.
Oh wow.
Um, so Shadow, just like any dog I've had, always there for me and all of that, but he really, um, above and beyond that, and I think some of it was his training to be a service dog.
Hmm.
But all of it, some of it, all of it, some of it, um, just who he is as a dog. I've never had a dog know me so deeply. I mean, he
Wow.
just, when he looks at me, it's like he's looking into my soul.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And he's with me 24/7. As a service
Mhm.
dog, he never left my side.
Right. How did you go about like how did you meet him?
I
Like was there
first,
a
yeah,
service that you had to go through? I'm just curious about that process as well.
mhm. Lots of different ways. But with Shadow, I found a breeder well, first I chose the breed. I wanted labs.
Hmm.
Um, and then I found a breeder who intentionally was breeding for service dogs.
Oh wow.
Um, got one of her puppies at 8 weeks old. So there was, do I get a trained dog at 2 or 3 years old, or do I get a puppy and train it myself? Pros
Right.
and
So that's a
cons to
unique
both.
distinction that you got him at a puppy as well. Like your bond must be so much even
Even
more.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then I worked with an organization who trains the handler, myself, and the dog together. So we did a lot of training that way and got certified. Yeah,
Wow.
so
And how has that helped like with your own of course in your own life personally, but like in the community with your chaplain work and
yeah.
your, end of life counseling and coaching.
Yeah, he's been a huge addition. So as a service dog, they work for their handler and they're supposed to work for their handler only.
Mm.
I have done a lot of growth, so his attention on me doesn't need to be as intense as it was.
Oh, also
So
you'll share him.
I'll share
Yeah.
him, yeah, as long
Yeah.
as I'm still doing well.
Mhm.
Um, and he comes to funerals with me. I officiate a
Wow.
lot of funerals, and he'll come with me. Lots of my funeral homes know me, and I even had someone who had attended a funeral that Shadow was at. Their mom died, and they said to
Mhm.
their funeral home, "Can you find that lady who has the dog?" Yeah, it was
Wow.
amazing.
That's so
Um,
interesting because I remember one time, like when I was back in the Boston area, I walked by a funeral home with Charlie, my soul dog, and there was a group of young, like a whole group of young
mm,
kids, probably in their teens, maybe even younger,
um,
where they had lost like one of their like classmates. And Charlie was like going up and like kind of like visiting with all of them. And I had thought, I was like, oh, I wonder if there's ever like, because I had trained him to be a therapy dog. And like, but you never hear of that, like how the like that funeral homes will allow dogs.
yeah,
So I'm so happy to hear that like he's part of your services and things like that, and that the funeral homes are open to that, because even like 10 years ago, I don't think they were as open to it. Or maybe it's just your reputation and your like the fact that you are well known, that people are kind of more open to it.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And Shada was introduced to the funeral homes initially as my service dog.
Okay.
And the ADA says that anywhere the public can be, service dogs are allowed. So
Got it.
they really, I mean, they could have said, no, we really don't want your dog, and let's see if we can work around this. But legally, they couldn't say your dog isn't welcome.
Right.
So
Right.
that was the initial in.
Yeah, and then that
Um,
allowed like for them to open their minds too, right? And then for other
yeah,
people to see the value of him being
right.
there. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And now he'll come. I always ask the families, do you like dogs? Would you like me to bring my dog? Um, and so when Shadow comes for that purpose, during the service itself, I'll have him go lay in front of the immediate family. And so often I just see them reaching down and patting, and sometimes the kids will come up and just wrap their arms around him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than a big hug with a lab, like a big dog like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh. So that's like really nice to hear how you've incorporated him into your work. Like and I heard, so you mentioned that you heard he recently got a diagnosis. Can you tell me about that?
Oh my God, it was devastating. It was the week of Thanksgiving 3 years ago now. So
Oh
he
wow.
was he was 5 years old. And on Sunday before Thanksgiving, this is his favorite place to be scratched. And I felt this thing. Was like a golf ball size. So went to the vet the next day and she said, I'm pretty sure it's cancer, lymphoma.
No.
And given its speed, she said with testing we would confirm, but it seems to be there are three types of lymphoma in dogs, and she thought it was the worst. She said he's probably got less than a month to live.
And that was 3 years ago.
That was 3 years ago. I the devastation I felt was unlike any grief I've felt with the loss of a pet. Um, he ended up being invited to Tufts Foster Hospital for Small Animals to one of their clinical trials,
Oh wow.
which we went and he was accepted, and they said it's 2 months of really intense chemo. If he makes it through that, maybe at the most you'll get 6 months. So time kept going by and he made it through the chemo, and then he made it through the 6 months with me saying, I'm sure it's getting close because we're on the edge of this 6 months.
Oh.
Um,
It has to be
but he
so
kept,
hard living your life every day. I mean, right, in some ways it makes you very intentional, but in other ways, like that's hard to have that lingering over your head for now it's been 3 years.
but at this point now, first they declared him in remission.
Oh wow.
And then when it was 2 years, they declared him cancer free. And
Wow.
even they call him a miracle dog. They did not expect him to live this long at all.
Wow.
Um, so it's been a weird kind of journey because
Mm-hmm.
I grieved so intensely for that first like half a year or so. Um,
What
even
kind of
think,
advice would you give to someone else that, I often talk to a lot of people who have already lost their dogs, but there's a whole, right there, like the anticipation of their death that is in some ways like a lot harder. Um, so I don't know, did you have any kind of advice? I mean, I know you're still living
advice.
through it, but
Yeah.
as an expert for the audience.
Yep. Two things of advice I would give. Number one is if you've gotten that diagnosis from your vet, find out if there are any clinical trials around.
Mm,
Um, my one of my first thoughts was I can't go to a cancer doctor for dogs. There's no way I could afford that. But the
mhm.
trial was completely free. You
Oh,
never know
wow.
what you'll get from it, right? And here I
Mhm,
haven't. But anticipatory grief, I don't know that there's anything that can take the pain away, really. I mean, we've got to go through it. We can't go around it, but go through it intentionally. You used that word, right? And make the most of the time you have left and reach out to others, whether
mhm,
that's someone else who has lost a pet and can understand, or someone like you or myself who works in the world of pet love and loss,
mhm, mm.
because so much of our society says, oh, it's just your pet, get over it.
Yep,
And we know that that's not true,
yep.
right? So
It's
find
definitely not
someone who
true.
can walk that with you so that
Mhm,
you don't have to do it alone.
yes. Okay.
Yeah.
What would you, I mean, of course, Shadow's still here. Um, what would you say to him? Like, I guess, I don't know, like, oftentimes, like, I'll hear, like, people wanna say thank you to their soul dogs. Like, is there anything that you would wanna say to him? Or you do say to him, like, "Thanks for being here for 3 more years?" I don't know.
Um, my eyes are welling up. I say thank you to him every day
Mm,
because back when I first had him, there were a couple of years that I was not able to work, and there were two times that he literally saved my life.
wow.
And I never stopped thanking him because if I weren't here, I wouldn't be enjoying two grandkids and the life that I have now.
Right.
So yeah, thank you to him
What
every day.
every day, every day. Wow, I love that. That's beautiful.
And thanks for being a trooper going through, oh my gosh, those 2 months of chemo were pretty intense. So
Yeah, so
he's a
resilient.
trooper.
Like such a good
Yeah.
testament to resilience and like
Oh
a
yeah.
life well lived, right?
Yep.
And then making most of like for even him, right? He has such an
Big-
impact on not only your life, but all like everybody in your community.
Yeah.
One last question regarding like, so you had mentioned that of course Shadow is your soul dog. But any of your previous dogs, like when you went through their loss, kind of any advice that you may have for people going through that? Not necessarily anticipatory grief, but just like the loss of your dog.
Oh, allow yourself to grieve. Ignore all those people who say you should be over it because you shouldn't
Hmm.
be. Um,
Yes.
and I
Perfect.
think that, yeah, I think that
That's it. Yeah.
belittles.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, you're
That's
right.
it. Yeah,
That's the
ignore
most
them.
important.
Yeah, 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 and know that you're not alone and that there's people like you that have support groups and there's
Right.
resources out there that you really
Yep,
aren't alone. Yeah,
that's for sure.
thank you. I'm gonna
Yeah.